You reinforced the front door, installed a grade 1 deadbolt, those long screws everyone talks about, drilled them deep into the studs, added a security bar, got a Ring doorbell so you'd see anyone approaching. You even upgraded the bedroom door, put a lock on it, stashed a gun in the nightstand. You watched the YouTube videos, read the forum threads. You did everything right. You felt prepared. You felt safe. It's 2:47 in the morning when you wake up, not to the sound of someone battering down your reinforced front door, not to the doorbell chiming with motion alerts. You wake up because there are footsteps in your hallway, inside your house. Your heart detonates in your chest. Adrenaline floods your system. Your hands are shaking as you reach for the nightstand, and your brain is screaming one question on repeat. How? How are they already inside? They didn't use the door? The door you spent $300 reinforcing. The door you were so confident would hold. The door you thought was the only thing standing between your family and the world outside. They never touched it. They came through the side window you assumed was too small, or the sliding glass door you figured was sturdy enough, or the garage you left unlocked because it's just the garage. And now they're in your hallway and you're in your bedroom, and every tactical fantasy you ever had about home defense is collapsing in real time because you just realized something horrible. You didn't build a fortress. You built a coffin with a combination lock. Home defense isn't about hardening one point of entry. It's not about the biggest deadbolt or the loudest alarm or the scariest protected by Smith & Wesson sign in your window. It's about understanding something most people never think about until it's too late. Fatal funnels, architectural choke points, geometric traps built into the structure of your home where sightlines, angles, and physics conspire to eliminate every advantage you think you have. These are the places where you get cornered, exposed, ambushed, and killed, even though you thought you were defending your family. There are 3 of them in almost every home. 3 zones where your defense plan doesn't just fail, it actively kills you. And the worst part, you walk through them every single day without noticing. This video is going to show you exactly where they are, why they're lethal, and what you actually need to do to stop your home from becoming your grave. Let's start with the one you're probably standing in right now. Fatal funnel number 1, the staircase, your vertical death corridor. Here's what the internet told you. Here's what the tactical blogs and the prepper forums and the self-defense instructors said. If someone breaks into your home and you're upstairs, stay upstairs. Post up at the top of the stairs. You've got the high ground. You've got the advantage. Force them to come to you. You'll see them before they see you. Elevation equals superiority. It's castle doctrine. It's battlefield logic. It's Sun Tzu or whatever. It sounds smart. It sounds right. It's going to get you killed. Let's talk about what actually happens when you position yourself at the top of a staircase during a home intrusion. First, the geometry. Stairs are a linear, predictable path with 0 lateral movement. You're locked into a fixed position at the top. You can't sidestep. You can't reposition dynamically. You can't adjust your angle without abandoning your spot entirely. Intruder knows exactly where you are. They know exactly where you'll be aiming from. They know the sight picture you have is a narrow vertical corridor and nothing else. You've turned yourself into a stationary turret with a single firing lane, and you've advertised your position by being the only possible threat at the top of those stairs. Now let's talk about sight lines. You're staring down at the staircase. That's it. That's all you can see. You've got no intel on the rest of your home. You don't know if there's 1 intruder or 3. You don't know if they're all coming up the stairs or if one of them is circling around to the other entrance you forgot about. The back staircase, the balcony door, the window at the end of the hall. You're tunnel visioned on a single choke point while they control the entire ground floor. They've got multiple entry points, multiple rooms to hide in, multiple angles to approach from. You have a 6-foot wide staircase and nothing else. And here's the part nobody tells you about. You're backlit. If there's any light source behind you, a nightlight in the hallway, a window with ambient streetlight, even the glow from a bedroom, you're a perfect silhouette. You're a cutout target at a shooting range. They're staring up at a black void, and you're staring down into one, but your outline is sharp and clear against the glow behind you. You see nothing, they see exactly where your head and torso are. Let's talk about the weapon mechanics, because this is where physics stops caring about your confidence. Shooting downward is awkward. Your posture is wrong. You're leaning forward. Your center of gravity is off. Your stance is unstable. You're trying to aim at a steep downward angle, and recoil is going to drive your muzzle upward, which makes follow-up shots even harder to control. Meanwhile, the intruder is shooting upward with their full body weight behind the gun, stable footing, and gravity working in their favor. You're fighting physics. You're using it. But let's say you're disciplined. Let's say you've trained. You're calm. You hold your position, and you're scanning that staircase like a professional. You're doing everything right. Here's what happens next. Nothing. They don't come up the stairs. They don't rush you. They're not stupid. They make noise at the bottom to keep you fixated, keep your attention locked on that narrow corridor while the second guy goes around, through the window you didn't secure, up the other staircase you forgot about, onto the balcony, through the attic access, and now you're staring at an empty staircase, utterly convinced you're holding the line, while someone is stepping into the hallway behind you. You're not defending a position. You're playing a game of distraction, and you already lost. And even if none of that happens, even if it's just one guy and he does try to come up those stairs, you're still cornered. You've got nowhere to go. If they rush, if they throw something, if they use a flashbang or just kick up enough noise and chaos to break your focus for 2 seconds, you've got no fallback. You can't retreat. You're at the top of the stairs. Behind you is a hallway and some bedrooms. You either hold or you die. And that's not tactics. That's just gambling with your family's life. So what's the actual protocol? You don't defend the staircase. You don't post up like you're holding the Alamo. You create a hardened fallback room. One room, ideally your master bedroom. Solid core door or steel. Reinforce the strike plate with those 3-inch screws everyone loves to talk about, but then forgets to actually install. Add a proper deadbolt. Get a door wedge or a security bar that jams under the handle. This room is your castle keep, not the staircase, not the hallway. One room with one entry point that you can lock, barricade, and defend from a position of actual advantage. Here's the advantage. Geometry that works for you. Position yourself in the corner diagonal from the door, not directly facing it. When someone kicks that door open, you see them in profile before they see you. You've got 2 walls for cover. You've got time to assess whether it's a threat. You're not silhouetted. You're not tunnel visioned. You're in a controlled space with a clear sight picture and a door that buys you time. And here's the real key. You call 911 immediately. You announce loudly, clearly, I've called the police, I'm armed, leave now.
You're not trying to win a gunfight.
You're trying to make them leave. That's the mission. Get them out of your house. Not engage them, not hunt them, not clear rooms like you're a one-man SWAT team. You're buying time until help arrives, and you're doing it from a position that doesn't require you to walk into a fatal funnel. And if the room is breached, if the door fails, if there's a fire, if the situation goes catastrophic, you've got a secondary exit, a window, a ladder, a rope, something. Because unlike the top of the staircase, you're not trapped. You've got an out. The staircase isn't a defensive position. It's a psychological trap. It feels like you're doing something. It feels like you're in control. But control is an illusion when the geometry is working against you. You're not holding the high ground. You're standing in a kill box, staring down a funnel, waiting for someone to pull the trigger. Fatal funnel number 2, the sliding glass door, the invisible entry point. Let's talk about that beautiful sliding glass door in your living room or kitchen or wherever you put it, so you could have a nice view of the backyard. It looks solid, it's heavy, it's expensive, you assume it's secure because, well, it's glass. They'd make noise breaking it, right? And it's big and sturdy, so it's not like someone can just slide it open. You even put a little wooden dowel in the track because that's what your dad did, and it seems like a good idea. You feel fine about it. You don't think about it. You should, because sliding glass doors are not barriers. They're invitations. They're structural weak points that most people treat as decorative features. And that ignorance turns your home into a fishbowl where intruders can watch you, assess you, and walk right in whenever they decide the time is right. First, let's address the glass itself. Tempered glass shatters into thousands of small, relatively harmless cubes when struck with enough force. That sounds like a feature until you realize it means one solid hit with a ceramic shard from a spark plug, a spring-loaded glass breaker, or even a decent-sized rock will spiderweb the entire pane and reduce it to gravel in under 3 seconds. The noise is brief. It's localized. If you're upstairs, if you've got the TV on, if you're in another room, you won't hear it. By the time your brain registers that something happened, they're already reaching through, unlocking the door, and sliding it open. Even if you have laminated glass, the kind with a plastic layer sandwiched between two sheets, it'll hold together after breaking, but it can still be peeled back or cut with a knife. It buys you time, not safety. Now let's talk about the sliding mechanism itself. A lot of sliders can be lifted right off their tracks with a pry bar, or even with bare hands if someone knows what they're doing. The locks are decorative. They engage a flimsy latch that's only as strong as the thin metal it's screwed into, which is usually aluminum framing that bends under pressure. That wooden dowel in the track? It's a minor inconvenience. Kick the door hard enough and the dowel snaps, splinters, or just gets shoved out of the way. It's not a lock, it's a wishful thought. And here's the real problem: the opening. A standard sliding glass door is 6 to 8 feet wide. Once it's breached, you've got a garage-sized entrance. Multiple people can pour through simultaneously. There's no choke point. There's no narrow doorway forcing them to come at you one at a time. It's a wide open ingress, and if they're coming in fast, you can't cover all the angles. You're trying to defend a horizontal space that's wider than your effective sight picture, and they're already spreading out the moment they cross the threshold. Let's talk about sightlines, because this is where it gets worse. Sliding glass doors usually face your living room, your kitchen, your dining area, open plan spaces where you spend most of your time. At night, you're inside with the lights on, they're outside in the dark, you can't see them. They can see everything, every movement you make, every room you walk into, every person in your house, it's all on display. You're a silhouette against interior light. You're predictable, you're cataloged. They know where you are, what you're doing, and when you're vulnerable. You're living in a glass box, and you don't even realize you're being watched. Here's the scenario. Family's asleep upstairs. Intruder walks around your house at midnight, checking windows, checking doors, checking routines. He sees the slider in the back. No cameras, no motion lights, no visible security. He's got a glass breaker in his pocket. Takes him 4 seconds to punch the glass, reach through, unlock it, slide it open. Now he's in your living room. He's got access to your kitchen, knives, tools, anything heavy. He's got access to the garage door, your car, your exit routes, your workshop. He's got the entire ground floor layout memorized because he watched you through that glass for the past 15 minutes while you were watching Netflix. By the time you hear something and come downstairs to investigate, he's not scrambling. He's entrenched. He's behind your couch or in the hallway or crouched next to the kitchen island. And you're walking into his ambush. You can't win that fight. You shouldn't even be in that fight. So what's the actual protocol? You harden the slider, or you eliminate it as a viable breach point. Start with a real security bar, not a dowel, not a broomstick, a telescoping steel bar that wedges at an angle from the base of the door to the opposite frame. It can't be kicked aside. It can't be lifted with a door. It's an actual physical obstacle. Add anti-lift brackets to the top track so the door can't be pried upward and removed. Install laminated security film on the glass, 8 to 12 mil thick. It won't stop the glass from breaking, but it'll hold the shards together and turn a 3-second smash and grab into a 30-second struggle involving sustained force and noise. That buys you time. Time is the only currency that matters in a home invasion. Add a secondary blocking device, a floor-mounted pin lock that drills through both the sliding door and the frame. Physical redundancy, layers. If they beat one, they've still got 2 more to deal with, and every second they spend working on your door is another second you have to hear them wake up, arm yourself, and call for help. Now, control visibility. Blackout curtains or heavy blinds closed at night. If they can't see in, they can't surveil you. They can't time their entry. They can't assess whether you're armed, whether you're awake, whether you're worth the risk. You've turned their advantage into uncertainty, and uncertainty is a deterrent. Add exterior motion lighting. Flood the area outside that slider with bright, sudden light if anyone approaches. It ruins their night vision. It announces their presence. It makes them visible to neighbors. Most importantly, it makes them feel exposed, and exposed predators leave. Install glass break sensors, acoustic detectors that listen for the specific frequency of shattering glass and trigger an alarm immediately. Add a contact sensor on the door frame so if it's opened, you're alerted. Put an outdoor motion camera covering the approach to the slider so you've got advance warning before they even touch the glass. And here's the interior tactic. Don't position your furniture facing the slider. Don't sit with your back to it. Don't make yourself a backlit target every night. Rearrange your space so you've got walls, corners, heavy furniture, something that gives you cover or at least concealment if that glass breaks. Have a response plan. If you hear glass shatter, you don't investigate. You don't walk toward the noise. You retreat to your hardened room. You arm yourself. You call 911 and you let the professionals handle it. And if you're serious, if you're thinking long term, you make environmental changes. Plant thorny, dense bushes outside that slider. Rose bushes, bougainvillea, barberry, something that makes approaching the door painful, noisy, and slow. Replace any smooth pathways with gravel that crunches underfoot. Remove patio furniture or decor that provides cover for someone trying to work on the door unnoticed. You're designing an environment that punishes intrusion before it even begins. The sliding glass door is not a feature, it's a liability. And if you're not treating it like one, you're handing intruders a 6-foot wide backlit entrance to your home with a welcome mat that says, "I didn't think this through." Fatal funnel number 3, the attached garage. The back door you forgot about. Here's the thing about attached garages. You don't think of them as part of your house. You think of them as exterior space, a place for cars, tools, storage, junk you haven't sorted through in 3 years. It's messy, it's not climate controlled. It doesn't feel like inside. So you treat it like it's outside. You leave the side door unlocked because it's just the garage. You put a cheap lock on it or no lock at all. Don't reinforce it. You don't monitor it. And you definitely don't think about the door between the garage and your house, the one that leads into your kitchen or hallway, as a security critical barrier because it's an interior door. It's inside. Why would it need to be strong? This is the mistake that kills you. The attached garage is a transitional space. It's neither fully inside nor fully outside, and that liminality makes it the softest, most ignored breach point in modern residential architecture. Let's walk through exactly how this works. Most garages have a side door or a personnel door, a regular human-sized door that lets you enter the garage without opening the big, rolling door. This side door is almost always pathetically weak. Hollow core, single lock, often a cheap knob lock with no deadbolt. Poorly lit, usually located on the side or back of the house, hidden from street view by fencing or landscaping. It's out of sight, it's out of mind, and it can be kicked in or pried open in under 10 seconds without making enough noise for you to hear it inside the house. Once they're in the garage, they've got time. They're not outside anymore. They're not exposed to neighbors, to cameras, to passing cars. They're in a sheltered workspace with all of your tools, your hammers, your pry bars, your saws, your drills, everything they need to breach the next barrier, and you handed it to them. Now let's talk about that next barrier, the door from your garage into your house. In most homes, this is a hollow core interior door. It's not rated for security, it's not reinforced, it's got a basic knob lock, maybe a deadbolt if you were slightly paranoid, but the door itself is made of compressed cardboard and thin wood veneer. You can kick through it with one solid hit. And here's the thing, you never reinforced it because you thought of it as an interior door. You thought the garage was already inside your defensive perimeter. You were wrong. So now the intruder is in your garage, surrounded by your tools, standing in front of a door that might as well be made of paper, and they've got all the time in the world to work on it because you can't hear them. The garage is acoustically isolated from the main house. There's insulation in the walls, there's distance, there's the buffer of your kitchen or hallway. If they kick that door in, the sound is muffled. You're upstairs, or you're watching TV, or you're asleep. And by the time you notice anything, they're already inside your home. It gets worse. Let's say you do hear something, maybe a scraping sound, maybe a thud. You're not sure. You think maybe something fell in the garage. Maybe the cat knocked something over. So you go to check. You walk to the door between your house and the garage. You open it. You flip the light switch. And here's what happens. You're backlit. You're standing in the doorway, framed by the light from your kitchen behind you, and the intruder is in the dark garage, crouched behind your car, or hidden behind the shelving unit you've been meaning to organize. You just walked into a fatal funnel. You're in a narrow threshold with no cover, no visibility, and no tactical advantage. You're a silhouette in a door frame, and you're about to get rushed, struck, or shot. Even if you're armed, you're at a massive disadvantage. You can't see them. They can see you perfectly. They've got the element of surprise. They've got your tools as improvised weapons. And if you fire blindly into the dark garage, you're shooting at uncertainty, and every round that misses is a liability. Walls, cars, stored flammables, or worse, a family member you didn't know was in there. And if you do confront them and they realize they're caught, they've still got an escape route. They can exit through the side door they came in through. They can manually release the garage door opener. Every automatic garage door has an emergency release handle that disconnects it from the motor and lifts the door manually to escape. You're left standing in a narrow transitional space with no idea if they're gone, if they're circling back, or if there's a second person you didn't account for. So, what's the actual protocol? You treat the garage as exterior space. You harden every access point like it's a front door. Start with the side or personnel door. Replace it with a solid core or steel door. Install a heavy-duty deadbolt. Grade 1 if possible. Add a reinforced strike plate with 3-inch screws drilled into the studs, not just the trim. Install a door viewer or a small camera so you can see who or what is outside before you open it. Add a motion-activated exterior light above the door so anyone approaching it is immediately illuminated. Now, harden the big garage door itself. When you leave, lock it. Use zip ties looped through the track holes on both sides. Cheap, fast, effective. They prevent the door from being lifted manually even if someone pulls the emergency release. Or install a slide bolt lock on the inside of the door so it physically cannot roll up. And secure that emergency release cable. Intruders can fish a coat hanger through the gap at the top of a closed garage door, hook the release handle, and pull it to disconnect the motor. Once that's done, they lift the door by hand and walk right in. Zip tie the release handle to the track so it can't be easily pulled, or remove it entirely if you're willing to accept the inconvenience. Next, the door from the garage into your house. Treat it like a front door. Solid core or steel. Deadbolt. Reinforced frame. And here's the critical part. Keep it locked at all times, even when you're home. This is not an interior door. This is a choke point between a semi-secure buffer zone and your actual living space. It should always be locked. Remove tools and improvised weapons from the garage. Don't hand intruders everything they need to breach your home. Store tools in locked cabinets, or better yet, keep them inside the house in a utility closet or basement. If you've got a workbench with saws, drills, pry bars, and hammers just sitting out, you've armed your intruder for free. Eliminate hiding spots. Organize your garage so there are clear sight lines. No dark corners, no piles of junk, no blind spots behind vehicles or storage shelves. If someone's in there, you should be able to see them immediately. Install early warning systems. Motion sensors inside the garage that alert you if there's movement. Glass break sensors on any windows. Contact sensors on all doors, side door, main door, and the door into your house. If any of them open or break, you know instantly. And here's the most important rule. If you hear something in the garage, do not investigate. Do not open that door. Do not walk into the threshold. You call 911. You arm yourself. You take up a defensive position in your hardened room. You let the police clear it. Don't play hero in a transitional space where the geometry is designed to kill you. The attached garage is not a storage area, it's a breach point. And if you're not treating it like one, you've left a back door wide open with a sign that says, "I didn't think anyone would come in this way." Let's zoom out for a second. Even if you harden the staircase approach, reinforce the slider, and lock down the garage, you've still got a deeper problem. Your home's floor plan itself is a fatal funnel. Modern residential architecture is designed for comfort, openness, and natural light. It's designed for dinner parties and entertaining, and making your kitchen feel connected to your living room so you can talk to guests while you're cooking. It's designed for aesthetics and real estate value. It is not designed for defense. Open concept floor plans are a tactical nightmare. No walls means no cover. An intruder standing in your entryway can see across your entire ground floor. Living room, dining room, kitchen, hallways. They can see where you are. They can see where you're going. They can track your movement in real time. You, on the other hand, have no place to hide, no corner to retreat to, no barrier to put between you and them. You're fighting in an open field, and open fields favor the aggressor. Long hallways are linear kill zones. If your bedroom is at the end of a long, narrow hallway with no doors or alcoves or intersections, you're trapped. There's no room to maneuver. There's no angle to exploit. You're either at the end of the hall, staring down a corridor, or you're in the corridor being stared at. Either way, someone's got a straight shot with no obstacles. And then there are the windows. Modern homes have huge windows, floor to ceiling glass, walls of light. It's beautiful during the day. At night, it's a liability. You're backlit, you're visible from outside. Every movement you make is broadcasted to anyone watching. You can't see out into the dark, but they can see everything inside. So what do? You reverse engineer your floor plan. You identify the fatal funnels in your specific layout. Walk through your home right now. Actually do this and ask yourself, where would I have no escape? Where can I be seen but not see? Where do multiple entry points converge into a single space I can't cover? Those are your fatal funnels. Mark them, memorize them, avoid them. Now identify your hard points. Rooms with solid walls, rooms with a single entry, rooms with a lockable door and a window for secondary egress. These are your fallback positions, not the hallway, not the staircase, not the open living room. One or two specific rooms that you can lock, barricade, and defend from a position of geometric advantage. Add physical barriers where you can. Move furniture strategically, not for looks, but for cover. A heavy bookshelf against a wall creates a barrier that can stop or slow an intruder. A solid dresser in a hallway creates a choke point. You're not redecorating. You're building an obstacle course that works in your favor. Control your lighting. You need the ability to kill all interior lights instantly. Either a master breaker switch accessible from your hardened room or individual switches you've practiced hitting in the dark. At the same time, you need exterior motion-activated floods that you can control from inside. The goal is to see without being seen. Light them up. Stay in the dark. Pre-stage your defensive resources. Flashlight, phone, medical kit, fire extinguisher. Everything you might need in a crisis should be in your hardened room, not scattered across the house. You don't want to be running around looking for a flashlight while someone's kicking down your door. And understand this, you're not trying to win a gunfight. You're not trying to clear your house room by room like you're on a SWAT team. You don't have backup. You don't have body armor. You don't have communications or coordinated entry tactics. You're one person in the dark in an environment you know, but that's been turned hostile. Your job is not to hunt. Your job is to survive. Delay their entry. Deny them easy access to your family, lock down in a hard point, and wait for help. Your home is not a castle. It's a series of geometric traps that can work for you or against you depending on whether you understand them. Most people don't. Most people walk through fatal funnels every single day and never realize it until someone's already inside and it's too late. Let's talk about the fantasy. You've seen the movies, you've watched the videos. Guy hears a noise downstairs, grabs his gun, moves through the house, pie slicing corners, checking rooms, staying low and quiet. He catches the bad guy, holds him at gunpoint, family's safe, cops show up, everyone's fine. Roll credits. That's the fantasy. That's the story you tell yourself when you think about home defense. Here's the reality. You get shot in a doorway you didn't check. Or you panic and fire blindly into the dark and hit your kid coming back from the bathroom. Or you trip over furniture in a room you've lived in for 10 years because adrenaline and fear have turned your fine motor skills into mush. Or you corner the intruder and now you're in a close quarters gunfight in your own hallway and bullets are going through drywall into your children's bedrooms. Or you win the fight, but you've got a sucking chest wound and you're bleeding out on your kitchen floor and help is still 8 minutes away. The hero fantasy is a lie. It's a marketing tool. It's a psychological trap that makes you think home defense is about confrontation, about winning a fight, about being the good guy with a gun. It's not. Home defense is about not getting into a fight in the first place. It's about creating enough barriers, enough delays, enough deterrence that the intruder chooses an easier target. And if they do get in, it's about surviving long enough for help to arrive. Your job is not to win a gunfight. Your job is to delay, deny, and escape. Delay their entry with hardened doors, reinforced frames, layers of locks. Deny them easy access to your family by locking down in a hard point they can't easily breach. Escape if you can, out a window, out a secondary exit, away from the threat entirely. And only if you're trapped, if there's no other option, if they're breaching your last line of defense and there's an imminent, unavoidable lethal threat, only then do you defend with force. That's the hierarchy. Avoid being targeted in the first place. Don't look wealthy. Don't advertise valuables. Keep a low profile. Deter with visible signs of security: cameras, alarms, lights, reinforced doors. Delay with physical barriers that buy you time. Deny by locking down in a room they can't easily get into. Defend only as the absolute last resort when all other options have failed. And here's the part nobody wants to hear: gear doesn't save you. The biggest gun safe in the world, the most expensive rifle, the fanciest night vision setup, none of it matters if you're standing in a fatal funnel. You can have a $10,000 gun collection and still get killed in your own hallway because you didn't understand the geometry of your home. You can have all the tactical training in the world and still walk into an ambush in your garage because you didn't think about sight lines and lighting. Skills matter, knowledge matters. Understanding how your home's architecture works for or against you matters. The ability to think clearly under stress, to make decisions based on reality instead of fantasy, to prioritize survival over pride, that matters. Okay, so here's what you do tonight. You walk through your home in the dark. You turn off all the lights, and you move through each room, and you see what an intruder would see. You identify where you're vulnerable. You find your fatal funnels. You locate your hard points. You check every door, every window, every lock, every potential breach point. You ask yourself, if someone wanted to get in, where would they go? And then you fix it. You harden your doors. You secure your slider. You lock your garage. You reinforce your frames. You install sensors and lights and cameras. You create a plan with your family. If something happens, where do we go? What do we do? Who calls 911? You practice it. You don't just talk about it. You practice it in the dark, under stress, until it's automatic, and you accept the uncomfortable truth. Your home is not a fortress. It's a wooden box with glass holes and hollow doors built by the lowest bidder to pass code inspections. It's not designed to stop a determined intruder. It's designed to look nice and sell quickly. Your safety is not built into the architecture. It's something you have to engineer yourself, one decision at a time, one reinforced strike plate at a time, one removed fatal funnel at a time. The locks on your doors won't save you. Your gun won't save you. What saves you is understanding that your floor plan is a weapon being used against you, and the only way to survive is to know where the traps are and refuse to step into them. Your home has 3 fatal funnels, maybe more. You've been walking through them your entire life. The staircase that traps you at the top, the slider that turns your living room into a fishbowl, the garage that hands intruders a back door and a toolkit. These aren't hypothetical. They're architectural realities that exist right now, in your home, waiting for the moment when someone decides to exploit them. So here's the question. Are you going to keep pretending your reinforced front door is enough? Or are you going to walk through your house tonight, find the funnels, and start fixing them before someone else finds them first? Geometry doesn't care about your confidence. It doesn't care about your gear. It only cares about sightlines, angles, and physics. Fix the geometry, or it becomes your grave.